It's good morning, Lisa Taylor. Welcome to Yellow Shelf, Lisa.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. I have read your book and I am going to hand this on to so many people I know. Congratulations. The Perfect Parent Trap. Tell us all about it, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. Well, look, it's an invitation. It's an invitation to parents to think about and look at parenting in a different way. So I call it flipping the script on traditional parenting because, what people need to know is this book is not about fixing your child. This book is really about understanding what happens inside of us as parents. And, we're raising kids in such a busy, pressured, high pressured sort of environment, wondering if we're getting it wrong, and parents are feeling overwhelmed. And so this book really is about thinking about what's happening for us in the moment and asking a couple of really good questions. And one of those is, am I responding to the child in front of me or reacting to the child within me? And that's kind of a key theme that sort of fits throughout the book. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
And Lisa, I read the book and at times I was challenged, which is a good thing about reflecting on my childhood, reflecting on, my family circumstances. But it was very healthy, the journey to reading your book. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write, your career? Tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, so what really inspired me is as a family therapist, I sit with families all of the time, and I was hearing the same kind of thing that parents were feeling overwhelmed, really questioning themselves and not trusting their intuition at all, and wanting to get it right and wanting to get it perfect. And I heard a stat about parents that like 40% of parents were so overwhelmed and anxious about their parenting that they couldn't parent how they really wanted to, and that made me so angry that I was like, right, I'm going to do something about this because when we know overwhelmed and anxious nervous systems in adults means overwhelmed and anxious nervous systems in children. So in therapy, what I often look at is what's really behind the behavior and what's happening underneath. And so this idea about heartprints came to life through the work that I do because people, I was looking at what was happening and people were reflecting on their own childhoods and how they were impacted, like not listened to as a child. Kind of when you're a parent and your children are not listening, it kind of creates something bigger for you. And so that when I went to write the book, I was like, well, I need to share my own story about feeling overwhelmed and being at the kitchen bench looking through the phone book, going, where can I go? Where can I run away to? And I had two little people at the time, and my mum had just died. So in the book, I share lots of personal stories, and also, my wonderful clients have shared some of their stories as well. So we are it's not a therapist telling you what to do kind of book. It's more like, let's go on a journey. I want to invite people into this idea that when we look at ourselves, that we can change the way we parent and how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, we should kind of stop judging ourselves because we
Yeah.
have patterns because they were instilled in us or there were reactions from childhood. Obviously, that idea of our past experiences can trigger our reactions.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
there's so many parenting books out there. Like
Yeah.
parents don't need to be told what to do. They know that
Yeah.
there's strategies, they know what to do. So this is a completely different kind of take on
Yes.
on parenting, and it's looking at parenting from a systemic level. So it's looking at relationships and how when we're in relationship, it's like a tiny thread that connects us all. And when I'm having a bad day, well, it impacts my kids and they behave differently. And when they're having a bad day, sometimes it rubs off on me and I catch their yucky feelings or their bad mood. And so the idea that we're all connected like a children's mobile, and when I pull on one piece of the mobile, the whole thing wobbles and changes. So this book is about helping parents to know that the mobile's not ever going to be still and, silent, that the mobile's going to move, but that we can all move through it in a way that is healthy and where relationships are kind of at the front of the whole idea of parenting rather than looking at behavior and wanting to control it or shut it down.
Yeah. And when I was reading the book, it reminded me of an incident in my life where my son was about 4 and he drew a picture of me. This is when I was working as a consultant in the corporate world. And he drew a picture of me smiling, but with a phone up to my ear.
Oh,
And you know how it's so innocent, but it's like it's that reminder. It's like, oh wow. So what your book does really well is, it isn't to crucify me, it's just to have a mindset shift.
yeah, it's a really warm and beautiful
Yes.
invitation, and there's kind of five real key qualities that kind of come through it, and the
Mm.
very first one is courage, because it takes
Yes.
courage to look at ourselves and to really,
Yeah.
kind of want to know, well, how do I do this differently? How do I do it the way I want to do it? How do I parent the way I really want? Not the yelling and overwhelmed and
Yes.
stressed one who's like feels like she's giving orders all the time, but how do I do it in a way that is true to who I am. So there's courage, connection, obviously, is so important with
Yes.
ourselves and kids. Curiosity, because when we can get really curious about what's happening underneath, we can then kind of, it changes how we respond. What compassion, because gosh
Yeah.
knows we need so
Mm.
much compassion for ourselves and for our
Yes.
kids.
Definitely.
And the last one's love, because that's the whole point of this whole life, really, like being human and feeling loved and being able to love in a way that you really want to is just so important. So there's the invitation to parents to read the book, and just there's reflective questions in there. There's some
Yes.
strategies and some ideas and ways of doing things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to invite everyone to just read it. And it's been really helpful for grandparents and for
Yeah.
husbands, and and we've had some I've had great conversations with my adult children
Yeah.
about times when I wasn't my best, and what did they, what was it like for them, and have I passed on my heartprint to them? This kind of idea that there's this generational ways or imprints that we leave on our kids. So it's about how do we grow our kids to be, um, a version that doesn't pass down our own imprints of like maybe not being good enough or not feeling heard or not being loved.
Yeah. Lisa, the book's out now. Are you planning on writing again? Was this like a one-off? Tell me, I'm just curious because I know the audience often send me messages saying, is there going to be more books? So I'm going to ask
Yeah.
you just because I'm curious. Is there
Oh
any thought
gosh,
to that?
yes, I look, I think there is. There's so I mean, this book has just gotten so much amazing
Yeah.
support, and I think
Yes.
it's really kind of hit a spot. So yeah, I think so. I'm not quite sure what it will look
That's
like,
okay.
and
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely. What I learned from the book is that I'm so much braver than I ever thought that I really
Yeah.
was. And that when I can sit in my own heart and write from a place of, real authenticity and love, then it really resonates with people, because there's so much fakeness in the world, and
Yeah.
people, and this is about being truly honest and
Yeah.
open, and opening our hearts to what we all need. So yes is the short answer.
Okay. Well, look, I know. I mean, it's a crazy busy time. You obviously enjoy this book. I've seen you on TV. I know you're doing launches and you're really embracing the getting the book out there. Lisa, if anyone's watching around the world, I'm going to put some links in the show notes to make it easy for people to connect with the book and connect with you. But do you want to let us know the best place to go?
Yep, strengtheningfamiliesaustralia.com.au is my website.
Yeah.
LisaTaylor.au on Instagram, and Lisa Taylor on Facebook. So, yeah, jump on and say hello, and yeah, have a look at everything. The website,
Yeah.
the Instagram, I'm often putting up videos and
Yes.
ideas and things that are helpful in the moment. So, yeah, people can connect with me there, and yeah, I'd love to hear what people think of the book, and if it
Yeah.
resonated with you, how it helped.
There you go. Do that, people. Read the book. Send Lisa a message. I feel like lots of parents can just take this in and yeah, be really considered about the book. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us. All the best.
Thanks so much for having me.
Cheers.